Hello, today we've got to do some collecting of our sap on the 100-acre wood. This is my collection system. I put a small 290 gallons per hour pump from Harbor Freight with some hoses, some PVC, and a 15-gallon tank. I will put this green hose in the barrels that I have collecting. It'll suck it into here. Then I go back to the sugar house and I put it in to my storage tank. So let me get going here. Open this up. Put that in there. Turn it on. This is the slowest process. I need a bigger pump, but I can't find a larger 12-volt pump anywhere. So it'll have to do for this year.
I'm going to just show them the pump that you're using again.
Yeah.
Paid $5 for the container. So in this bucket right now, how many trees are feeding into this one collection point? We got this tree that goes around.
9.
Then we got trees over there. And then there's some over there. So 9 total trees that collects into this container. All right, now we're gonna take it and bring it into the sugar house. All right, so now we're gonna pump it from this container here on the left to the one over here on the right. Again, pretty much the same process, except reversing the container.
This is our third 55-gallon drum we filled today. Should be better tomorrow. It's going to be just as warm all night.
I don't know if you heard him. That's his third 55-gallon drum for today. All right, while that happens, I'm going to go in and show you what's going on inside the sugar house. Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about our maple sugaring process that we are using this year. First, I'm going to have my husband talk to you about a reverse osmosis system that he put in. But I'm going to, well, let me just have him talk to you about it, and then I'll explain what else we're doing.
Yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube, and this is the general setup that they use. So I have my raw sap barrels, and through a series of tubing, it gets drawn out through a pressure pump, through a house filter, through as many membranes as you want to put up. Each one increases the percentage of concentrate, and they work just like a water one for your sink. You increase the pressure, and it blocks the sap from going through the membrane and pushes through the water into a permeate bucket, which is pure water, and the concentrate goes into another bucket.
So what reverse osmosis does, from what I understand, is it takes the water content out of the sap, correct, Tony?
Yes.
And that's what he's got here. So part of it is water, which the majority, as you can see here, the majority of it is water.
There's 0% sap in there. It's all water. All the sap goes in here.
So, so what that does is it helps reduce our boiling time. Sorry, it's raining outdoors. I got water dropping on the roof. It reduces the boiling time for the sap, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And once I get that bucket full of concentrate to a percentage I like, which with those 3 filters, it gets up to 6.5, 7. Then I pump it one more time through the RO into my storage tanks, which in turn feeds my pre-warmer. And I have a float valve that keeps the level at least 2 inches in my boiling pan. And then when this gets up to 215, 216, depending on barometric pressure, the higher the barometric pressure, from what I understand, the longer you have to boil. So I test it because I'm still not sure about how to read that. I test it with my hydrometer. When I get up to 30 or 40% sugar, I'll take off some sap, put it in my finisher over on the turkey fryer until it finishes at 66%. Right now, I am just cleaning the sap off.
I was going to say, that doesn't look like sap in there, so that's just got water.
Just cleaning off some dried sap.
All right, so that's an old turkey fryer we have, and that's what we've used in the past, just to kind of boil down the sap to the point where it gets to almost syrup level. Last year we did it in the house, but it made a mess of our stove.
Everything got sticky.
Yeah, and that we can't even clean off. So do not use it inside your house.
Without watching it, you make a mess. When it reaches 66%, I'll dump it into my bottler, I'm sorry, and I will fill my bottles. And then when you fill them, and you get the caps on, you turn them upside down for 15-20 seconds so it seats the caps, and then you just stack them up.
So this is what we've gotten so far this year, correct?
Correct. Right here.
Whatever's got caps on it.
Yes. And this is our label.
Which I gotta find our labels from last year. I'm not sure what I did with them. So these are people that we gave syrup to return the bottles. So we've cleaned them, sterilized them, and gonna reuse those to give back to family and friends. But I did want to mention, because I noticed over here that there's a filter right there. And one of the things that we do is during the RO process over here, the sap gets filtered there. And then again, after it's boiled here, it gets filtered through that, and then another filter down here. Now I used to have that big white filter.
I was using these sap filters. They clog real easy, and I still had a lot of meter to get through, which is sugar sand. So a lot of people on YouTube recommended using clean used t-shirts or sheets and run them through several times. So I'm trying that, and I'm going to keep the sugar filter over in my bottler.
Which is great when you have a lot of shirts that got stains on them or holes. There you go, just clean them. Obviously make sure that they're clean.
With no detergent.
All right, there you go, with no detergent. And then over here, when we're doing, after it's boiled down here, and it goes into this for filling, that white thing right there is another filter, which you would be surprised after something being filtered so many times how much you're still getting out of it, which Tony said is called sugar sand. And then we fill it in there.
I found out yesterday you could filter as much as you want, but if you reheat the sap to a certain temperature, it creates more sugar sand. So you might think you have it all cleaned out and not cloudy, but if you reheat it to put it in your bottler, you better filter it again because you're going to have more sand in it. Last year, I had to boil and refilter several times.
All right, so that is our system for this year and how we're running it. Last year we did it in the garage. This is our third year. Last year we had this pan made by a local company, and then he created this thing over the spring and summer of last year when we finished up in the garage. He made it a little bit bigger, created the RO system. We then converted this shed that we used to store some of our gadgets in, built up here, there's a cupola, so the steam has a place to go. So we added that to it, thanks to the local Amish in the area. And so this is our system for this year. We are not having a very good year so far with sap because it just was so cold, and then it got warm really quickly. And now it's been too warm that we're just not even getting any sap for the last 2 days. We've gotten hardly anything, so we haven't even collected it.
Nothing's running.
Yeah, so it gave us time to kind of play with the RO system and get that worked out and see which works for us and test things out. So there we go. That's our system this year.
Well, this is my second boil. The first boil, my burner wasn't working very well. I had to get a bigger gas tank for the size of my burner. But he came, fixed it, adjusted some stuff, and it is boiling good now. It's rolling right through it. 7% concentrate going to the pre-warmer. 7% concentrate going through the RO and going into the storage tanks. I still got 105, 110 gallons of raw sap in those two drums. And I'm almost done on that. I have about 8 gallons left, maybe 6. And I haven't collected today. It's not running very good. It didn't get very cold last night. Plus now it's starting to rain. So hopefully by the end of the day I'll be able to go collect. Update later. Well, we just used up the rest of the sap. The trees have been dried up for 3 days now, so I RO'd the remaining amount. And it's all in here now. The warming pan is empty. And I just reached 218. It's still only like 20% syrup, but I'm gonna put it on the finisher. Right now I'm gonna draw it off. Through that filter system and down into that filter system. Works much better than those cloth ones. The other ones clog up too much. There's more in this, and it's probably finer. So I think this works better. So once this is empty, we'll put it over on the turkey fryer and finish it up. I'll start back up then. Okay, we're to the point. That's drained and cleaned. Filtered 3 times through there, brought over to the finish area, and it is now boiling. It is 218.5. I'm gonna check it in a few minutes. Then I'm going to bring it and put it in there. I got 2 filters in there, and that's my filter slash bottler. And then I'll video some filling of the bottles. So we got a lot of syrup this time. It's all set to go. Now we're going to bottle it. This little contraption here. I made a mess with the other spout, so
Low battery coming.
Yeah. So I decided to go with a smaller spout so I don't make a mess. I think that's best.
You hit that right there.
Definitely a lot slower, but I make a mess on these. There we go. About 1/2 inch from the top. Give it a good twist. Put it upside down. I'll do one of these now. The glass are for family so they can return them, and we clean them and reuse them. The plastic's for selling so they don't get broken in shipping. And there you go.